Welcome. My name is Marty Major with FLIR Security's TCX Training Department. Today we're going to talk about customizing the look of Control Center. Now there's a number of things we can do both on our individual display right here, and there's some other things we can do in tools and options that we'll talk about towards the end. But initially what I wanted to point out here is that we basically have four different regions of things in Control Center that are displayed. Here's our navigation tree in the top left. In the bottom left, we actually share this area with three different things. We have our Smart Search, we have our Query, and we have our PTZ Overlay. In the top right corner, we have our different layouts that we have available. And if I double click on one, it'll actually add it on the layout. So I can have a series of tabs across the top, etc. And my layout tree that's over here and that's showing. So that's the top right corner. And on the bottom right corner, or the vast majority of the right-hand side of the screen, you can see this area down here is a dynamic area. Generally, you're not clicking on any of these individual panes to take you to these things. What happens is when you do something else, like for instance, if I do a query over here, as soon as I hit go, it'll automatically go to my query results page. If an alarm comes in, boom, it'll automatically go to the alarm page. If an event comes in, etc., the same thing. If I go to my playback, it'll automatically go to the timeline. So this is a dynamic area shared by 6 different things. Now, that's the basic rundown of what you're seeing here in Control Center. However, there are ways to sort of take things out of your view that you're not interested in. For instance, you can see over here, and there's a series of these little bars, and they're collapsibility bars, right? So if I click this, it just collapses the layout pattern things over here, and if I bring it back, I can simply bring it back. I can do the same thing over here on this side. I can collapse the entire left-hand side by clicking on this little tab right here. It gives me more real estate for my cameras, and if I click it, it comes right back. There's also one between these two things right here, and so I could literally make them go away if I needed a little bit more room to play with right here. And then this is the filter function that just brings that up there. And to bring my lower portion back, I simply click it and bring it back. And then finally, there's one more right here. This would collapse the bottom 6 panes, the dynamic panes we talked about, and open up some more real estate for your camera view. So now notice also one thing. Each one of these components has a little X in the top corner. So for instance, if there's something maybe you don't use, maybe you're not using alarms for whatever reason, you can actually click this and make it go away. And now you've only got 5. So again, no reason to display things or have things on the screen that aren't being used. And if you do make a mistake and click something away that you didn't mean to click away, like oops, I needed that one, all of the individual components that make up this screen are all up here under View and then Content. And you can see, other than the 2 case builder ones that are grayed out because I'm not using it, there are 2 you can see that are unchecked, and those are the ones that I've lost. I definitely want my timeline back, so let's bring that back. But maybe I'm not using alarms, so I'll just leave my alarms off. So that's the very basic and easy way to sort of change layouts. Now, of course, I can double-click panes. It'll make it into full screen. I can hit F11, right? And that will actually take me to a full screen. That's just a Windows function. I hit F11 to come back again. And then double click brings me back to this pane as well. Same thing in any other layout that I'm actually doing. Now, some of the things that we can actually do though, as far as our layout and what it looks like, are done in tools and options. So let's go ahead and go into tools and options. And you can see view settings, right? It's right in the settings that you would imagine that have something to do with it. Now this actually in the general settings, I can, for instance, use up to 4 different monitors on one machine. Each one of those monitors would be listed right here. And if, for instance, on my 3rd monitor I wanted to do email and not have a version of Control Center pop up when it opens up, I simply uncheck the box right there, and it will only come up on the ones that I want it to. If I don't like the status bar, I can take that off. I can refresh the status instead of every second. I can only do it every 10 seconds if that's what I want. Here are my full screen controls, and these ones come into play a lot, especially if you have a command center wall or a video wall of some kind. A lot of times, if this machine is being used to send streams to a video wall, you might want to check this box then, and then when Control Center gets started, you would actually start right in full screen, right up on your display wall, which makes a lot of sense. But there are other things as well. I can go to full screen and still show some of these things. Now, when I showed full screen a second ago, there was nothing but video. If I wanted to had all video and my file menu up here, That's all I do is I check that box and then it shows it there as well. These splitters for vertical or horizontal actually show some of the things across the bottom. If I do the horizontal and if I do the vertical one, it actually shows the left-hand panes right here alongside the video. And then we have a couple of toolbars that we can turn on or turn off basically in full screen. So there's a couple of things. Here's layouts for dwelling and dragging behavior. If I don't like dragging cameras, well, dragging cameras in is how you put them in here. If I don't like dragging them out, I can simply uncheck this box. And then if I go a little bit deeper into advanced, there's something called stacking, which we will get into here. But a number of different things. Here's some alerting functions. If your CPU or your memory gets up to a certain level, you can be warned by the system itself. And then, of course, we have layout patterns. There are some layouts that are available. Notice we have two different columns here. Available means not being used. So selected means everything that's in this list right here. If you note, for instance, that some of these layouts are too large, you don't need this many streams hitting your machine at the same time, it could overload your CPU, you can simply highlight it and take them out. Once it's in the available list, it no longer is displayed over here on the right, which is being displayed from the selected list. And now again, you're taking away ones that you don't think you don't want your guards to even attempt to use because it's going to use up too much resources. And also you can order the ones that are listed here. You can see on the far right, I have my 1x, a 2x2, a 3x3 Brady Bunch scene. If I wanted to reorder these, I would simply take this, move it to the top. If that was my favorite, I hit save, and now you can see that reflected over in the top. For further FLIR security training, go to FLIR.com, then Products and Security. From the Security page, you would come to Support and then Training. On the training page, we have it divided currently between in-person training and online training. The in-person training includes certification classes in Latitude and many of our thermal technologies. The online training includes upcoming security webinars, which you see up here on the left, and recorded webinars, which of course continues to grow as we do the current webinars. But over on the right-hand side, you'll see our online training video library where we cover a number of different things in our repertoire. If we go to Latitude, you can see we have a series of Latitude training videos like this one that you just listened to, and we are adding to this list, and it is growing fast.